Hi everybody, welcome back to the Live Your Life series brought to you by myself, Bree Milas, in collaboration with the amazing Who I Am Foundation. We have come a long way over the past 10 weeks. This is it. This is the final feature moment within the Live Your Life series. So this week we're going to be wrapping everything up. Last week we did a recap talking about all the different topics that we've touched on so far, different tips and tricks and ways that you can remain motivated to fulfill those goals and visions that you have for yourself. And more importantly, how can you make sure that you're really truly doing the things that are going to allow you to live a life with positivity and lead to a place of fulfillment for yourself. This week, we're going to talk about, now that you have all these tools, you have all these tips, you have all these ideas of what your future can look like, what you have envisioned for yourself. We're going to talk about how do you maintain that momentum as you continue to move forward with this vision, move forward with your goals, and how do you stay on track? So diving in right now, what does that mean? What does that look like? How can you turn all of this knowledge that you've gained thus far into action? I think that actions speak louder than words. And I think that saying really holds a lot of weight. I think it definitely speaks truth, and it couldn't be more real. It's one thing to say that you have a goal that you want to accomplish. It's another thing to actually enact it and do it, right? So you know that you're not going to make progress if you're not physically, mentally, emotionally striving and moving forward towards that goal. You can say it, you can write it down on a piece of paper. Even if you took the tip to create a SMART goal, you made sure it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely, but you wrote it down and you haven't looked at it since. You're not acting on it, right? So really taking those things that you want to do and putting your words into action is going to be the first step, right? You have the tools, you have the resources, you have a good sense and understanding of what it is you want to do. You know what you need to do to make it happen. So what do you actually need to do to make sure that you're taking the steps to get it done if you haven't started taking those steps already, right? So how do you do that? How do you maintain this momentum? How do you continue to get started? Even for those of you who have probably already started on these goals, you've been making that progress, you have been moving forward, but maybe you're hitting a plateau, maybe you're feeling a little stuck and that motivation is starting to die down a little bit. How can you pick it back up? So propelling yourself forward, really having a good sense and clear vision of what your intentions and goals are daily. So we've talked about this, right? Having a vision board, having a calendar with your to-do list, having that motivational quote, having some type of reminder on your mirror, something on your door, something that you're either going to read, listen to, or look at every single day to be reminded, this is my goal and this is how I'm going to keep moving forward. We also talked a lot about journaling. We touched on that briefly, but a while back we talked about how valuable journaling can be. It's a really good way to clear your mind, get all your thoughts down on paper. And if you're someone who just, wants to write down your goals and have them put into that journal as well, I think that's a great way and ability to measure your progress. Something that I've noticed is I go through phases with journaling. Sometimes I'll journal a lot, it'll be consistent, it'll be every day. And then other times I'm not really journaling regularly, but it's just here and there, right? But what I do is every time I make an entry in my journal, I will put in a date. And when I go in to make the next entry, obviously I'll put in a date. Sometimes if it's been a long break, I'll kind of open up that journal, see what that date was the last time I journaled. And if it's been like a couple months or so, I always like to read back at where I was a couple months ago, where my mindset was, what was going on in my life, what was I thinking, what was I doing, and what was I hoping for to do differently? What was I thinking about? What could be better? What was I looking forward to? And that really allows for a good sense of self-reflection. And it also allows you to kind of gain a good sense and understanding of like, hey, like a few months ago, I was in this spot and I was really concerned with wanting to be better at getting organized. I really wanted to take that step to go back to school. And here I am a few months later down the road, and I've been utilizing a calendar. I have a great routine established. I am going to school. I'm getting my assignments done. I'm not procrastinating. Life is good. So I think journaling not only is a healthy outlet in terms of your feelings and emotions, but it also gives you a lot of value to be able to track that progress that you're making. And if you're staying consistent with it in terms of your journaling, even if it's every day, go back several pages and kind of, again, just remind yourself like, hey, I was in this headspace a few months ago, maybe even a couple weeks ago, and look at where I am today. Or maybe you were in a better headspace a few months ago and today not so much. Maybe you need that little sense of reminder to kind of jog that momentum, bring back that positivity, and make you think and say like, wow, this is where I want to be. I need to go back here. How can I get there? So that is going to be very valuable. Journaling, seeing it somewhere where you can have those daily inspirations, daily reminders. Consistency is going to be key when it comes to making progress with these goals and visions that you have set in place. Also, further developing the knowledge that you have already gained. I am a huge proponent of being a lifelong learner. As people, we are not meant to remain stagnant. We are not meant to go to school, learn some things, and then that's it, we're done. We graduate high school, we're good to go. Like formally and informally. I'm not saying you have to go to college by no means to learn more, but there's so much knowledge, there is so much wealth intellectually out there to be gained. Like, please take advantage of it, whether it be through a podcast, whether it be through a book, anything. You should always be striving to learn more, always striving to be a better you. And you can't do that if you're not going to expand upon the knowledge that you have thus far. Pick up a book, listen to a podcast, have a conversation with someone who is doing amazing things in this world, watch a documentary, take a class, go back to school, whatever it is, whatever learning looks like for you, formally, informally. Never stop growing, never slow down, never stop taking in that knowledge, because there is so much to be gained and there's so much growth to be done and given for yourself. Remember, as people, there's so much value in bettering ourselves and continuing to prosper. And personal growth is such a beautiful thing. And when you truly allow yourself the time to engage in it, you probably won't even realize not only the impact that you are going to have on yourself, but those who you cross paths with in this world every single day. So I really challenge you to continue to learn and just really run with some of these tips that you've been able to take away over the past few weeks. Going off of that, now we're going to shift gears and talk a little bit more about focus. How do you rein it in? So yes, you can see it every day. You have these daily reminders. You have some aspirations. You know what your goals are, things like that. But how do you actually remain focused? How do you know that you are actually achieving these goals in that timely manner, right? So I think going back to those SMART goals that you set for yourself, what did they look like? What were the timelines that you had established? And where are you with those goals? Again, it could be the journaling, measuring progress through that. But again, having an actual timeline. When you had your SMART goals initially, you should have established a timeline of when you wanted that goal to be achieved. Where are you at in that progress? Has it been a couple months? Has it been a couple weeks? If so, what was that end date that you wanted to achieve this goal by? And are you on track? If you're not, what do you need to do to make up for that lost time? If it means establishing your goal and extending that timeline, by all means do it. But do what you have to do, again, to make sure that you are going to accomplish that goal and you're not going to stop. So just take some time, stop, recenter yourself, get focused, and get back on track. Making it happen. I think a huge thing is, I don't know about you all, but we've been hearing a lot of talk about this whole word being thrown around about manifesting and manifestation, which I'm sure is an idea that has been around for very long, right? Many years, but I think right now it's kind of a buzzword, manifestation. And I just think a huge part of manifestation is really truly believing and envisioning where you see yourself in the future, what you want for yourself in the future, and just running with it. And when you have this idea of what your life will look like in the future, if it's something that you really truly want, obviously the future is unpredictable. Things can come up, things can happen, unexpected things may occur. But at the same time, if you are someone who says, like, in 5 to 10 years, I'm going to have a house, I'm going to own my car, I'm going to have that job I've wanted, and I'm going to take that trip that I've been wanting to take for years, you can make it happen because you're seeing it and you're going to keep putting it out there so much that it's going to become a reality because you're going to speak it into existence. So really believing in yourself, believing in your goals, envisioning that this is something that will happen. This is something that you want to happen, and this is what your life will look like. You are going to accomplish those goals and you are going to succeed above and beyond the goals that you have set for yourself. And I want that for you, and I want you to want it for yourself too. In order to move forward with that, sometimes things come up, right? We talked about obstacles. We talked about things that get in the way. And sometimes our fear can be the greatest thing that holds us back. And I am guilty of this, right? I'm a victim of my fear holding me back, wanting to stay within my comfort zone because I didn't feel confident enough. I felt too shy. I was too scared. Whatever it was in the past that held me back, I just learned every time I stepped out of that comfort zone, it got easier and easier. And there was never a single time that I regretted stepping out of that comfort zone because every single time I did, I was able to grow so much more as a person. I would not be doing half of the things that I am doing today if it wasn't for me pushing myself out of that comfort zone, overcoming that fear and running with it. And I have grown so much as a person, and I could not be more thankful for that. If I were to remain shy, I would have remained stagnant. I wouldn't have grown as a person. And you don't want to be stuck there. Don't get stuck. If it feels scary, that's a good thing. Own it, hone in on it, overcome it, and push yourself to get out of that comfort zone because that's the only way that progress is going to be made. You will not change if you stay where you are. And sometimes change is uncomfortable, but we have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable to make progress, to move forward and be our best selves and be who we are ultimately meant to be as people. Embrace the challenges. So embracing your own pace. Everyone is different. We are all living a different life. We are all on our own timelines. We will have ups when we are succeeding in our goals. We will have downs when we hit those obstacles, when we hit that spot where we know we have to push ourselves out of that comfort zone. You're going to feel down for a minute and you're really going to question, like, hey, is this really what I want? Do I really want to push myself? Because I'm not too sure about this. Yes, you do. You do want to push yourself. It will be a challenge, but it is going to be worth it. I promise you. Push yourself, challenge yourself, and try to remain positive when things get down. We talked about really harvesting and kind of reflecting on those feelings of times where we've succeeded in the past. It's a really good feeling when you accomplish something that you have been striving for, right? So try to remember those feelings. Try to think back to that moment where you felt like you achieved something that you had been striving for. You were happy, you succeeded, and reimagine those feelings for whatever that future goal is that you're looking to accomplish, and really channel that energy to continue to propel you forward. That way you can hit that next goal. Take risk. Do not be too hard on yourself. Like I said, we are all on our own timeline. We all have different lifestyles. Some people are going to get married before us. Some people are going to have kids before us. Some people are going to have a house before us. Some people are going to finish school. Maybe finish school later in life. It doesn't matter. As long as you are doing what you want to do, there's nothing better than that. And I cannot say that enough. I think as people, we constantly compare ourselves to others. We always feel the need to be in a certain place at a certain time when that's not even the thing that we want to be doing. We just want to do it because we feel like we should, because that's what society says. and we feel like we need to follow society's plan. Do not do that. People who are most successful, people who are most confident and comfortable with who they are as a person, are those who have a great sense of self-awareness and just know like who they are, what they stand for, what they value, and what they love most about life itself and living it. And those are the people who you see being successful because they're confident in who they are, they're happy with what they do, and they just own it. And there's nothing more beautiful than that. And I will just leave it at that because I really strongly encourage you to take that risk just to be who you truly are and own that, because there's nothing better than being yourself. Being in tune with the present. So yes, we have so many things going on in our day-to-day life. We need those daily reminders. We need those daily affirmations. We have to have that future focus to be able to get to where we want to be. But what about the present, right? Living in the moment, soaking up all that's around you in that moment, the good and the bad. The bad, that's going to be a learning lesson. We talked about that. It's not a mistake. It's a learning lesson. What can you learn from it? How can you grow from it? What can you take away? The good, the feelings, the happiness, the energy, the excitement. Run with it, take it, enjoy it, soak it all up, and listen to people around you. Like, I cannot tell you how many times there are certain things that will come up repeatedly in like a month span where I'm like, why does this keep coming up? Like, why are people telling me this about myself? Or like, why are people saying like, oh, you should teach, or hey, you should do a podcast or something. Like, I don't know. Same thing repeatedly from different people that I barely talk to, people who love me dearly, people who know me inside and out. And then I'm like, hey, this has to be a sign, right? Lean into those signs, because that means that you're putting something out there that people are all collectively picking up on. One, that means that's one of your greatest strengths, or you're giving off something that is true to who you are and you're good at it and other people can see it. So really hone in on that. And two, it just means that, maybe it's a sign. Again, this is something that you should be doing. If it's an idea that you feel comfortable with running with, or maybe you don't feel comfortable, I challenge you to step outside your comfort zone and just dive in deep with it. Really listen to those signs, take advantage of all the opportunities that you have around you, and listen to the people who are around you, because again, words are very powerful. And if people are telling you something and you're hearing it repeatedly, I promise you there is a reason why. So do not run away from it. Lean into it. And lastly, celebrate your success. Like, gosh, we are so hard on ourselves, right? As people, but I am just so thankful for having the ability to be able to cross paths with so many people every single day of my life, whether it be through work, whether it be through volunteering, whether it be through teaching a cycle class. Like, every single space that I'm in, the opportunity I have to get to know people and all these different perspectives, it's so beautiful. And gosh, like I think that our world has been really tough on us, especially over the past year or so. And just be happy, be kind to one another, and celebrate not only your success, but other people's success as well. We really need that now more than ever, for people to build one another up, because this world is harsh. It is difficult. And as if it wasn't hard enough just to get up and go through your day as it is and have a smile on your face, all the external noise and things that are going on in this world can just really bring you down. So we need more happiness. We need more joy. We need more celebrations, because this life that we have been granted is so beautiful. Do not take it for granted, and celebrate your success, because life is short and you are worthy of living a life that you want to live, a life that you want to deserve. And we are all here to live a life with purpose and lead a life with fulfillment. And I really hope that by the time you leave this earth, wherever we go, that you can say, wow, I lived a life of fulfillment. I lived a life that I'm happy to say I had the opportunity to live. So that is it, the end of our series. Thank you all so much for listening. I really strongly encourage you to share these videos. If you have questions, if you have stories, please send them to me, send them my way, leave some comments. I would love to talk more. If you have ideas or questions for me on things that you want to hear a little bit more about, let me know. I'm very happy to continue just talking about how beautiful this world is, how beautiful you all are. And the last thing that I want to leave you with is something that really has stuck with me from an individual who had said this a couple years back, but this is a really good way to start your day or end your day. I just want you to think, if you were to wake up tomorrow with the things that you were grateful for today, what would you have? That's all I got. So thank you so much. I appreciated your time. Thank you so much for listening. Please share these words with other people who you think need to hear it. Like I said, I'm really happy to hear your thoughts. Please don't be afraid to reach out to me. My name is Bree. Please follow me on social media. Also follow the Who I Am Foundation because they are amazing. They're a true testament of living a life of fulfillment and purpose and impacting so many of those around us. So thank you for your time. Have an amazing week. And thank you as always for listening.